Jessica here, representing All Things Dog Blog, continuing our series on yoga for dogs. I'm here with my pal, Nikki B, and we are going to be transitioning into the work portion of our practice with a sun salutation. Okay, now I think what I'll do is I'll teach this pose by pose, and we've already covered upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and the forward fold pose. So I'll stop in the next pose of the sun salutation, which is going to be warrior one. Okay, so I'll briefly go through the beginning of the sun salutation. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the front of the mat. Of course, you can pick which end is the front. It really doesn't matter, whatever feels better for you. And we'll start with the feet hip-width apart. And the shoulders are down, away from the ears. Crown of the head lifts up to the sky. The bottom of the feet sink down into the earth. Okay, and once, well, you know what? We could also open up the fingers here too, and I'll turn so you can see. Once we've taken a resting breath or two here, what we can do is we can inhale and raise the arms up over the head. This is called standing mountain. And then on the exhale of the breath, we can hinge forward, swooping the arms out and around, hinging at the hips, and slowly coming down to this forward fold position. Let's hold this for one full breath. And then on the next inhale, we can flatten the back, resting the fingers on the shins for the monkey pose. Next exhale, we'll bend the knees enough so that we can plant the hands, and then we can either step both feet back or we could jump to the back of the mat and then transition to downward facing dog pose. And we'll go ahead and hold this for one full breath. Next, we're going to do that yoga push-up, but this time we're going to try to keep the knees off the mat. So we're in this full plank pose on the next inhale. And then as we exhale, we'll come down, keeping the elbows in, flipping the feet, and inhaling to upward facing dog. Curling the toes, and then exhaling to downward facing dog. Okay, now just to clarify, there is a great modification option for this. It's called the half series of a sun salutation. So what we could do to modify that, if we're not feeling quite as strong today, we could bring the knees down, just like we did in our warm-up, as we inhale, and then exhale down all the way to the mat, and then inhale to that nice cobra pose. Then we can curl the toes as we hold the inhale, and then as we exhale, we'll push up and back to down dog for a full breath. Okay, now on the next inhale, we'll turn the head so we can see the hands, and then we'll exhale and bring the right foot forward. Okay, and you know what? You might not get that foot forward in one exhale, so you might want to take some time and use one of the hands to help scooch that foot forward. Take as much time as you need. Okay, and then we'll turn the back foot out to the side wall. And then on the next exhale of the breath, we'll slowly stand up. You could use the wall for assistance here. And then we'll turn the hips so they're squared forward. Okay, so you'll feel some pull, some stretch and lengthening in the hip flexor of the left hip. Okay, there's going to be either a little bend or a deep bend in that right knee. Okay, again, checking in with alignment. We want to keep the joints stacked. So if you notice that the knee is too far forward, you could take a step back to lengthen the distance between the feet, or just take a little bend out of the knee. Okay, experimenting with what feels best for you in this strong warrior one pose. Okay, and then with the arms, we have a few different options. We could keep the hands in the prayer position, resting at the heart center, or we could bring them up by the ears. Oh, bless me. Okay, and then this is one that we could actually bring the dog into the pose with us. If the dog's small enough, of course, depending on the size of the dog. Nikki, can you come here for a second, please? Right here, please. Come here. Come on. Oh, you're so stubborn. Okay, so if the dog's small enough, we could place her on this bent knee. Okay. Of course, we will need to use our hands to help, keep the dog there. Make sure he or she does not fall. Or, if we're feeling really strong today, we could try lifting the dog up. Like this. Oh, it's a little scary up there. And of course, depending on how the dog feels about it too. I don't know, Nikki's looking a little scared up there, huh? You're way up in the sky. So, again, experimenting with what feels good for your dog. Nikki B likes to just kind of hang out on the mat or on her little blanket. So, being patient, re-encouraging every step of the way. Okay, so that's the Warrior One pose. Again, let's check in with the base too. This is important. So, evenly distributing the weight between the front and the back feet. Inside, outside, front and back of the feet should be evenly pressing into the mat. Okay, this will create the most stability in the pose. Okay, so that's the Warrior One pose. Of course, I could show it to you on the left side too. So, stepping the right foot back, excuse me, Nikki. And turning the right toes to the side wall. Now I have my left foot forward, so I'm going to put a little bend or deep bend in that left knee. Again, squaring the hips forward, evenly distributing the weight between both feet, and then, experimenting with the hands. You can rest them at the heart center, or we can bring them up. Just as long as those shoulders are down, away from the ears, chin is up off the chest. And a little smile always helps too. Deep breaths from the belly. So that's all the tips that I have for you guys on the first pose of our Sun Salutation, which is the Warrior One pose. So stay tuned for the next pose of our Sun Salutation. Namaste.